Welcome to The Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a show that is a central hub and safe space for authors to share their stories. The Bold Book with Dr. Denise begins now.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Denise Nicholson, and this podcast is for anyone looking for inspiration. Today, we have the poet herself, the great Faith Aisien-Ezugwu. Faith, welcome to the Bold Book of the Day podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You
I'm
are
so
so
excited.
you are so welcome. Guess what I have here in my hand? Your book. It is so beautiful. Please
Thank
tell the audience who you are and why you wrote this book of poems.
Okay. So, as Dr. Denise Nicholson said, my name is Faith Aisien-Ezugwu, and I'm the author of I Am Here. So, I actually wrote this book because I wanted to put something out there. I had a vision, a dream, many, many years ago, but I didn't actually know how to, put it into paper. A few years ago, when I was very unwell, I had like a flashback about myself, and I thought to myself that all these experiences I've had, all these connections I've had, am I not going to be able to share it with people? And during that time, I started to write my feelings, my thoughts. And at the time as well, because I was unwell, I had a lot of time to just reflect. And it was almost like I went into myself to kind of find myself. And that's when I wrote the book. And, the first poem in that book actually reflected how I was feeling at the time, because I felt I wasn't being heard and I wasn't being seen, in every area. I have a fantastic family life, but I just felt a bit lonely because I felt I couldn't share how I felt during that time with anyone. I couldn't speak to anyone. And I would just like to read it, if that's okay.
Oh, please. Yes. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
So this one is called I Am Here. I am here, but you can't hear me. I am here, but you can't see me. What can I do to be heard? I'm desperate, longing to fit in. My hands are raised, but you can't see me. When I strive to speak, you silence me. What can I do to make you hear me? What can I do to make you see me? I want to share my heart with you, but I'm unseen. I want to share my ideas with you, but I'm unheard. I'm here to explore. I am here. I am unseen. And that's it. And I remember the first time when I had a meeting with you, I read it and I felt a bit emotional. I don't know if you remember that meeting.
Oh, yes. I
Because I
remember.
just felt like maybe this is, I can finally speak to somebody and I can get my thoughts into a book. And this is it.
I not only remember how emotional you were, I remember how the connections of why the story you told of why you wanted to share your thoughts on paper so that it could get to others, not just here, but from where you are from. I know you're from Nigeria, and it just was a deep story and an, a story that made me think that, you know, every single person who has had the opportunity of growing up in a different culture from the Western world, really, they're lucky because you get to have that balance of the culture. It's different from when you're home than when you're in a
Yeah.
different country. Yes. So I
So
remember
saying
that story.
Yes, well, so saying that, I actually grew up in the UK. So I've been in the UK for over 40 years, but sometimes trying to identify and not fitting in here and not fitting in there, sometimes it can be quite, you know, challenging and difficult.
You know, fitting in is one of the problems that I've realized that a lot of authors come up with. How can you, what kind of advice can you give to a young person, or not even a young person, because we all suffer with that fitting in? How do you get over that? And what kind of advice can you give a person who's trying their best to fit in, but it's just feeling like a square going into a circle?
Um, I think, I mean, at the end of the day, there is somebody for everybody. And
Mhm.
sometimes you have to just look at those people that you can get on with, because um, it's important that you have a good circle of people. It's important that you're able to communicate with people at different levels. One of the good things about me, or how I've been able to fit into certain places, I mean, I don't fit into everywhere, but the places I've been able to fit into is I try to find, I'm very good with people. I try to find something that we have similarities in, and even when you meet people as well, don't really make it about yourself. Try and find something interesting about them and try and connect with that. You don't always have to wait for people to ask you. You can also ask people as well. But in terms of, if you want to find, I think it's important that you know who you are, but at the same time, you can also set those boundaries in terms of, trying to fit into spaces, because not everything would work for you. And it's important that you actually understand the values you have and the values that, yeah, the values that actually works for you as an individual, because you can meet people and your values are not the same. So I think it's always important to have that at the back of your mind when you're trying to fit in different environments, if it's going to work for you or not.
Beautifully said. Good advice. And I think that's something, I can take some of that for myself, because I'm always, when I'm in a space and I want to meet people, I'm very easy to, I'm an introvert and an extrovert. So when I get into some spaces, I can really just feel like I've been around for a long time. And then sometimes when I'm trying to make sure that people see that, okay, I am flexible, I can be in this room and feel like I'm at home. But then that's really great advice where you said, you know what, as long as you have your values, just keep those. And if your values align with the group that you're in, keep that. That's a great one. Love it.
I'll just give you an example. I went to an event and I was like, oh my God, I felt like there were so many people. I mean, I did speak to certain people, but I didn't exchange numbers or anything like that. And so I really wanted to leave quite quick. And on my way out, a couple of people came to me to say, oh, can we have your details? I think we can really connect. And I was like really surprised, like they want my number. I didn't even say much, but they said, oh, there's just something about you, we would like to get to know you better and things like that. So I just, yeah, give them my details, and we've been, great friends ever since.
Well, so, you said another thing that is important. When you're in a room, just try to get to know people. And they were getting to know you, and you were surprised that you were just being yourself, and people fell in love with you and wanted to know more.
Yes, and like I said, ever since we've been great friends. We do things together, we meet up, and our values actually reflect
Yes.
each other. So it's good. So sometimes saying less is more. You don't have
Yes.
to over please people. Sometimes that just not it doesn't work. So it's always important, I think, anyway, to be yourself.
Yes, yes, it does. Yeah, you have to be yourself when you get in a space. And one of the things I love about your book that you just wrote, their debut book, which your book signing is coming up, your first book signing, you will have plenty, but your first book signing is coming up, and people will get to know more about you after having read these some of them so intimate poems, and then after having you know gone through this book and read a little bit about your bio, where you're from, where what you stand for, and I think they'll get it after they get a copy of this book. Tell us more about, how did your journey of writing poems start?
Right. Like I said at the beginning, I'm quite a reflector and I connect quite a lot with people. When I first started writing, I didn't actually think anything of it. I just appreciate penning things down. A lot of people have journals these days, don't they? So they've always said it's always important to write your thoughts down and all those type of things. For me, I mean, I was doing it, but I wasn't doing it religiously like I do it now. But at the time when I started, it was, like I mentioned earlier, I was unwell. And when I got better, I just started, I just started writing about the things, because sometimes we forget about the passions we have. And I started journaling, like morning, morning, afternoons, evening, even when I'm at work as well, I would journal my day. And because I'm into art, I think that also reflects in my book, because I don't know whether you noticed that I've got pictures and um, things like that. I just appreciate, I appreciate seeing good things. I appreciate just being able to, to see the world from a different lens. And because, again, during the time when I wrote, I had I'm being really vulnerable here. I had a detachment of the retina, and that was really difficult. I couldn't really see for some time. And when things became better, I just wanted to appreciate every single thing. I made sure that I've always loved art, but I made sure that I got myself a year's membership so I can go to the Tate Museum. So every single
Mm,
time I have time, I would do that. Again, I would, I started buying myself flowers. So every month I have flowers delivered to myself. I just wanted to appreciate, all those things, because I mean, it seems it takes an illness for you to recognize and appreciate life. But I saw
mhm.
everything from a different angle and from a different lens. And also from the connections I've had with people. People have just always connected with me. They've always told me their stories. They've always, shared things with me. And then I noticed that, with all these stories, we are all connected.
Yeah,
And we all have a lot more in common than we actually think. And there are lots of people out there that do feel a bit left out, that do feel a little bit lonely, that do feel a little bit, vulnerable. And all they want to do is connect and talk to, to have somebody to talk to, basically. And that
yeah,
again reflects in one of my poems where I said, I see you. So
yes,
that's a shout out to all those people out there, letting them know that they're not alone.
yes.
And one of the things as well, the three heads basically means that we're all connected in the
Mm,
book. So that's again, my love for art is just reflecting in the picture itself.
yes. The book cover is beautifully designed, and the art within each poem, not each poem, but a few of the poems have some artwork under there, and I love that, or beside there, and I love it. And I See You is a strong poem because a lot of people are going on in this world, getting through your every day, and you are just part of the scheme. And a lot of times we don't notice the people that opens the doors for us, when you're entering certain places, or the security guard that stands in front when you enter your workplace. You just go by them, but it's important to just stop and say, I see you. Hey, hello. So
Yes.
that people realize that they are a part of your life. They're not just there. They're a part of your life. So
I
I
mean,
See You is a strong, strong poem that I love so much.
yeah, I think a lot of the time that we always forget to acknowledge people and to, acknowledge people, and one thing I've always ensured as an individual, not even now, but what I've always done in all my career, is I acknowledge the people that work for me, the people I work with. I always show appreciation. When I start my emails is, I hope your day is going fine. I never start my emails without not saying, a polite word. And
Yes.
I think it's very important that we treat people how we want to be treated, or how we want to be seen. Um, yes.
Oh, I love that. And that is so true. Every email you always start with, I hope your day is going fine. I love that about you. There's so, back to this book. I appreciate that the book is broken down. It's so easy for us to find something if you feel like you're in that season of life where you're searching for something. There is a few themes in this book. Tell us why you put this theme together, because I just find that it's easy. It's like a manual. You can take this book around and it's easy to use.
Okay, so they always say that life is a journey, isn't it? And
Yeah.
also, there is a quote, I can't remember whether it's Wayne Dyer, but they say life has no meaning, only the meaning you give it. But like I said before, life is a journey, and we all go through our journeys. And sometimes we start by, so like my journey, for example, when I was in my zone, it started with searching, I am here, what do I represent? What is my identity? All those things that I've kind of gone through and I've shared with people, seeing people as well. So I talked about I am here, I see you. I talked about disability. I talked about love, part one and part two. And then I took that into broken, because in people's lives, life is never straightforward. It's up and down. So broken is just about the things that have happened, as I'm just generalizing here, where people have felt kind of broken and unhappy. Here I talk about the silent loss. I talk about raw, which is about grief and all those, that comes under that heading. And then finally in that section I spoke about acceptance. After everything that has happened to you, you need to sit back and just accept it. Because only when we accept our difficulties and our problems and not blaming other people, that's when we can really move forward.
Yes.
And then I talked about finding, once you've accepted yourself and your issues and all that, then you start kind of putting other things in place, and that's where the finding comes into place. I talked about boundaries, freedom, being free, and what does freedom mean to you.
Yes.
I talked about doing things my way. So that's again like a journey, a seat at my table, no matter what things have happened, there will always be a seat for you at my table. So that's just acknowledging everyone. And then after finding, I I went into, I think it's not connecting, and that's the connection with myself. You know, sometimes for you to get to where you want to get to, you need to really look at yourself, you know, and it's almost like a rebirth of who you are into something new. You know, the way you look at yourself, the way you show up. I talk about the happy place. I talked about my sisters because there's a lot of connections there. I talked about my mother. And then I moved on to now, which is present. And it just talks about appreciating yourself as an individual. You know, you've done the work. So now you need to be still and appreciating everything around you as a person. So it's just breaking down the journey into different sections, really.
Yeah. Yeah. While you were, writing this book, did you find yourself searching? And if so, have you found what you've been looking for?
We're all, well, everybody's always searching. And I don't think, I mean, in terms of appreciating where I'm at, loving where I'm at, you know, my family life, the things I have around me, the people I have in my life, my family, you know, all those things are, well, kind of, they're permanent, aren't they? But I think as individuals and as human beings, we never stop searching, you know. It doesn't mean that what we have now is not the best, or, but we can never stop searching, because if we stop searching, it's almost like we stop living. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I see it. Did you want to say something, or?
I said, wow, that is deep. I just mouthed it because that is deep. I haven't thought of, thought of it that way. So yes, that is
Yeah.
deep.
Well, I mean, that's how I would, you know, interpret it. We can never stop searching, because if we stop searching, that means we are not motivated to go to the next, you know, to go to the next level. We don't want to achieve anymore. We just there. So I think it's
Comfortable.
important that, sorry?
Yeah. We just get comfortable. Just
Exactly.
being there. Yeah.
So I
Not
think
striving
it's
and searching.
important that we keep, you know, searching. Yeah, to me, I think it is important.
Now, looking back at the 7-year-old Faith, what can you tell her? What was she going through that you can say, I've found myself, or you're going to be fine? What can you tell that 7-year-old girl?
So I'll say to you, when I was 7 years old, I didn't actually have any worries. You know, I was on top of the
Amen.
world. You know, I couldn't really complain. I mean, I had ambition. You know, I had a lot of ambition. I wanted to do things. And I would say to her, just trust the process.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no matter what the journey is, you'll always find a way out, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because you're hardworking, you've got good values, you're a good person, you're surrounded by love, and just trust yourself. Trust yourself, trust the process. Your journey may not be as straightforward as everybody else, you know, but then, you know, in my culture, I don't know whether in your culture as well, but they always say, when you look at the fingers, all the fingers are not equal. So which means everybody has a different journey. Even this small one will still get to the destination,
Yes.
you know. So yeah, I'll just say trust the process.
Yes. I like that analogy where you're, looking at the fingers to share that they're each different,
Yeah. I mean, looking
different
at yours,
size.
yours are almost all equal, Denise. The top ones anyway.
I hope they're not. So, but they're all, different. Some are fatter, some are longer, and of course, some are shorter. But in order for your hands to be effective, in order for you to get things done, they needed to be shaped that way. They each need to be different. And so I like that you brought that in, because
Yeah.
as a part of this world, we may look different and feel different, but you're needed, you're necessary, no matter where
Yes.
you're from, no matter what language you speak, no matter what makes you different, you are necessary.
Yes, and I also would say to that 7-year-old is that, you have to do the work to get the results.
Ooh, yes.
You know, you have to do the work to get the results because, nothing comes for free. And
Mhm.
even when it does come, if it does come free, you will lose it quite quickly. So it's
Mhm.
important that you're aware, you know, that you have to put in some work to get to where you want to get to.
Yes. Now, I want you to tell me about the journey while you were writing this poem. Was it emotional or was it just free? And was it something that you would recommend to another poet to just write this and get it out there because it is cathartic? What do you think about your writing process?
Well, my writing process, the first few poems was difficult to write because it was, I had to dig deep, but I tried to write it in a simple way where everybody would understand it, and I wanted to pen something down that you wouldn't need to get a dictionary to start looking for words, so something simple. And I wanted to, because I felt I've kept this in for so long, I just wanted to have it out there.
Yes.
I wanted to have it out there. And, the writing process wasn't really, it wasn't really that intense because I wrote about the things I also um, enjoy. I talked about my sisters, I talked about my mother, I talked about the connections with people. I mean, it was, I don't want to say pretty straightforward. A lot of work went into it, but it wasn't tedious or anything. I looked forward to writing it, and also being a part of your writing incubator. I think that also helped because there were different authors that were trying to express themselves. So I think that actually helped, being in a space with other people that were going through the same thing.
Ah, well, thank you so much for mentioning that because it is important. It is
Sorry.
so important when you have a writing community, a
Yeah.
place where like-minded people have the same goals, and you can go there not feeling burdened, but just feeling excited that if you have a question, these people, they won't shun you. They won't say, we've heard enough. They are actually excited for you and for your questions and can help you through. It's a great place to be in a community of like-minded people. So big up to the writing incubator.
Yes, I didn't mean to mention it, but it's just what we do, isn't it? That's what
It's
we do
what we
within
do.
the
Yes,
class.
it's what we do. Absolutely. Now, the themes of this book is striking to me. There's searching, there's broken, there's finding, and you just mentioned them all. There's connecting, and then there is now. What's you know what is exciting about now and give you hope about now?
Now, I think it's important that we live in the present moment. So that's what now means,
Mhm.
appreciating everything around you and just loving yourself, looking, that's self-love. It doesn't mean you should neglect other things around you, like your family. But, they always say you can't pour from an empty cup.
Mhm.
So now is about just looking forward
Yes.
to the things to come, and just appreciating every moment. It's also about just having that self-compassion, that self-love, looking after yourself.
Yes.
And there's so much more to come. That's what now is about.
Yeah, I appreciated the poems in now, because it's a reminder that the present is your present. You're looking for, and that is the gift. The present is the gift. The present is the present.
The gift of life. I think a lot of us don't appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
We take things for granted. And I've always, like now, like now, I yeah, I always try to, look forward to things. When I wake up in the morning, I'm just very appreciative that I have another day, you know. And there's so much more I can do, I can still offer. So that's how I try to live. I'm just so appreciative when I wake up and I was like, I'm still here, you know. I'm going to make the
Mm,
most of this day. I'm going to do the best I can. And, I'm always sending out all these motivational quotes and all that. And I just appreciate now, because you can never, no matter how much we're searching and no matter how much we're doing, we can't go backwards. So the only thing we can do is to look forward.
amen. Oh, I love it. Um, just before we wrap up, I wanted to say that I know that writing a book is a lot of work, but what was the most joyful part of this book process for you?
Um, for me, it's just basically having it here. Finding, just like, I can't believe that the book is like here, and it's really beautiful. It's I can't really put it down that I've actually written something so it's small but mighty, and it's beautiful,
Yes.
and it still hasn't sunk in yet. It still hasn't
Yeah.
sunk in yet.
So, has it sunk in that you are an author, a published author?
It's getting there slowly. I'm excited. Like yesterday, actually, I showed my sisters, and they all wanted to, they wanted to have this copy, but I was like, no, not yet. You have to wait. So I'm honestly so grateful to God,
Yeah.
and I'm just grateful for everything.
Yes.
And yeah, I am just grateful, to be honest.
It's a beautiful book. You did a wonderful job. And I can't wait for the world to get their hands on this book, to flip through it and to embrace it. Take your time with it. Put it on on a table where you can reach it easily. I feel like it is one of those books that you want to just always have around or have with you. And I love the size of this book where you can just put it in your purse and take it with you somewhere. It's a great gift. I believe this is going to make a really great gift to give someone that you love. And it's like giving them a warm hug, a deep,
Oh,
long
thank you.
hug. Yeah, well done. Great job. And I just want to say congratulations, because you are such a different person today than you were when you started this journey. And I believe it's because you see that you can manifest your dreams. This was
Oh,
just a dream for
definitely.
you one day, and now it's in your hand. So for anyone out there that has a dream, dreams do come through, but you got to
Yes,
work on them.
definitely. Yes,
Hmm.
and please do not compare yourself. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Everybody is unique,
Hmm.
and try and use your uniqueness for your own journey.
Yeah,
And no matter how difficult it is, you'll still get to your destination. That's what,
absolutely.
yeah.
Great advice. Now, I love to ask my guests 3 questions before they go. So, these are the 3 questions, and I believe that I ask these questions because I want the audience to get to know you a little bit better. But I know I ask these questions because I'm nosy and I like to get into your business. So, what's one bold promise that you can share with your audience?
One bold promise. Well, you're going to see more of me.
Yeah, that's right.
And
She is here.
yes, I'm here. And in terms of like advice, I'll just say, for you to get any results, if you have a dream, work at it. Always make sure you have your values, on check. But for you to get any results, you have to put the work in. Nothing comes for free, basically. So that's what I'll say. If you put the work in, you get the results, and be
Yeah.
open-minded as well.
Okay, I love it. What's a bold statement you can share with the audience that will cause a paradigm shift?
I think I mentioned it just a while ago. What I would say is, don't compare yourself to anyone else. Your journey is your journey. Appreciate every step you take. Sometimes you might have to move a little bit backwards before you move forward, but
Yes.
appreciate your journey. Have self-love, have self-compassion for yourself.
I love that. Sometimes you have to move backwards before you can move forward because when you move backwards, you can do some, reflection, introspection, and just decide, is this space where I'm in good, and where do I want to be? If not here, where do I want to be? And it's
Exactly.
not a problem when you decide that where you are is not enough or not big enough. You are always growing, and growing means that there's life. If you're not growing, then that's death, or
Yes.
almost there. So
Yeah.
growth is life. And if you are growing out of a space, embrace it. Write a plan.
Definitely,
How do
definitely.
you want to get out of it? So that's a
And
beautiful statement.
yeah, and I just wanted to say, it's also good for you to have a community, if you can, to just to bounce off ideas, and to have that connection. One of the reasons why, sorry, I know I've got one more question, but I just wanted to say,
Yes.
one of the reasons why I wrote this book as well is because a lot of us don't communicate, we don't talk to each other.
Hmm.
And I hope this book will facilitate more conversations amongst us as people, women, men, wherever you're from, but especially um, within the ethnic minority, because we don't talk about feelings that much. We don't share the way um, we don't share our inner thoughts. I know in Africa, in Nigeria, we don't. And I'm really hoping that people reading this would help them have that conversation with their loved ones, with their friends, with their mothers, just to
Yeah.
get that connection. Sorry, I've
No,
gone
I
off the.
love it. No, no, no. I love it. And I have another question before I get to the final question. What
Mhm.
is the most impactful conversation that you've had that you think has changed your life?
Well, the most impactful conversation that's changed my life, I didn't have it with anyone that was close to me as such. I had it with a therapist. you
Mm-hmm.
know yes, maybe I'm being a bit too open now, but it's the
Go
truth.
ahead and be open
um,
because we
you
and
know I,
our culture need to normalize this.
yeah,
Yes.
I had it with a therapist. It's about when my dad passed away,
Hmm.
and also it was about when I had my miscarriages, because I just couldn't share that with people, and it's not something we talk about. And I
Hmm.
couldn't definitely share it with my friends. because I didn't want pity party, and I didn't want to, I just couldn't talk. So it was, through therapists that I was able to overcome that. It wasn't with the people I loved or anything like that. And sometimes it's better for you to detach yourself away from the people you love, because they can't understand the problem as such, because they're too close to it. So sometimes it's better for you to talk to an external person that has no feelings in that issue that you're going through. Sorry, I've
Yes.
said too much already.
I love it. I just love your transparency. I love how deep you are. And I love that you have this book of poems that will help people to connect, to search, to find themselves, and to get to that place, that now, where they can feel like they can participate instead of being distanced. They can be a part of the journey, be a part of the story, be a part of the scene, be a part of what's going on in the present, because the present
Definitely.
is your present. You wrote a beautiful book. I love it. And the world is going to love it. Thank you so much for sharing. But there's one more question just before you go. What is one bold promise or one bold move that you'd like to make in the future?
One bold move. Well, you'll be hearing a lot more from me. I think I said that before.
Well,
I might even take over Denise's podcasts.
yes. She'll be back. I love it.
I'm looking forward to doing more things. I'm looking forward to developing, because I think every story in this book can be a book in itself.
Mhm.
And so I'm looking forward to developing that into something more deep with with the right people. So that's a bold statement. And also maybe a podcast, and I'll have Dr. Denise as my guest.
Oh, I'd love to be there. And if you need help starting your podcast, just let me know, girl. I'll hook you up.
Thank you.
Guys, it has been such a pleasure to speak with Faith Aisien-Ezugwu. And Faith, you are amazing, because I did not expect you to come out here and shine so bright like a diamond, because you're nervous. You said I've never done this before, but girl, this is, look at you. Yes, beautiful job. So well done. And tell the audience, where can they find you if they want to follow you and just to continue being a part of your community? Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram. It's called Inkwell Faith, and I'm also on. I'm not on Facebook yet. I'm just on Instagram, and you can also send me an email at faithezugwu@gmail.com. And you can order my book when it's ready on Amazon.
Yes, you also have your own website too. What's your website?
It's called iamhere.com, I think. I need to check that out. Because it's in the process. Yes, it's in the process of being built at the moment.
But if you go to iamhere.com and you don't see her, guess where you can go? Send her an email.
Exactly. Or you can just send me a note on Instagram and I will respond. So
there you have it. You can find her, okay? Because you are going to want to connect and get your book, of course, and then connect and be a part of her community. Thank you so much, Faith, for coming. If you would like to write your book and publish it, please send me an email at authordnicholson@gmail.com. I will help you get your book idea out of your head and onto paper so that you can become the published author that you've been dreaming of. Faith, thank you for being a part of the writing community, the writing incubator, and for being a part of Bold Publishing. You brought a sense of joy and a sense of impact, because you are so deep. And, when people in the room had questions, you were able to help them through. And so we appreciate that you're part of the journey. And we are hoping that you stay with us a little longer.
Yes, I will be. Yeah. But I just wanted to say thank you as well. I wasn't expecting to be on your podcast so soon, but I really appreciate it, for the experience, for the time, and, thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. It has been a pleasure. I hope you come back soon. I hope to see you back here soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, audience, please remember, I Am Here is available. It's here. Get your copy today. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for the Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a central hub and a safe space for authors to share their stories. Follow Dr. Denise on Facebook and Instagram at Denise Nicholson, or go to denisenicholson.com. Remember, no one can share your story better than you.